So welcome to part 3 of how to solve the Rubik's Cube with no memorization. In part 1 and part 2, I explained how to rotate any 3 pieces of the cube without affecting the rest of the cube. And in this video, I'm going to explain how to flip any 2 pieces without affecting the rest of the cube. So let's take a look at this cube that we have right here. Notice how it's completely solved except for these 2 pieces. And these 2 pieces are actually in their correct position, they're just not flipped the correct way. So I'm going to explain to you how to flip any 2 pieces without affecting the rest of the cube. And the good news is that we're using the same exact formula that we use in part 1 and part 2. So if you do not know the formula which I'm about to teach you, I would suggest that you go back and watch part 1 and part 2, and it'll make a lot more sense. The formula is x, y, x prime, y prime. Alright, and there are 2 conditions that need to be met in order to flip any 2 pieces. Alright, there are 2 conditions, and the conditions is that they both need to be in the same layer. Notice how both these pieces are in the top layer of the cube. So in order to do this, both pieces need to be in the same layer. Also, the 2 pieces need to be in their correct positions. Alright, notice how this piece is orange, blue, and yellow. Notice how this has an orange center, a blue center, and a yellow center. So this piece and this piece are in their correct positions. So those are the 2 conditions that need to be met before we can start our sequence of moves using this formula x, y, x prime, y prime. Alright, so let's just get started right away. So our x is going to be any sequence of moves that correctly takes this piece and orientates it the correct way. Alright, so let's just get started right away. I'm going to do my sequence of x moves. I'm going to do any sequence that orientates this piece the correct way. Alright, so I'm going to do front, downside, front, right, down, right. And I didn't use the terms clockwise or counterclockwise just because I feel like that makes it a lot more confusing. Just pause the video and just watch really closely what I'm doing. So I just took the piece that was right here that was not orientated the correct way, and now it is, and I did any sequence of moves, and now it is orientated the correct way. So I have finished my sequence of x. Now I'm going to do the next part of the formula, which is y. Y is always one move that replaces this piece with the other piece that's in the top layer. Okay, so my y is just one move that replaces this piece with the other piece in the top layer. So in order to replace this piece, I just need to rotate the top side clockwise, and now I have replaced the piece that was here with the other piece. Alright, now it is time to do the next part of the formula, which is x prime. X prime is the opposite of x. Once again, I suggest you watch part 1 and part 2. If you don't know how to do x prime, it'll make a lot more sense if you watch those videos first. So now my x prime is going to be the opposite of x. We'll get started right away. The first thing is going to be right, down 180 degrees, right, front, down 180 degrees, and the front. Alright, so now I have completed my x prime. And the next part of the formula is going to be my y prime. Y prime is just the opposite of y. So since y was the top clockwise, then my y prime is going to be the top counterclockwise. And now take a look that we have flipped these 2 pieces of the cube without affecting the rest of the cube. Alright, so this is a little bit more difficult than rotating 3 pieces because usually the sequence of moves are a lot longer and it's harder to memorize. So I would suggest trying to avoid doing this altogether. There are ways to avoid this, but I think it's kind of fun, so I just thought I thought I would make a video about it. So I really hope that you're enjoying these videos. There are a lot more examples that are different that I'm going to go over as well. So stay tuned, and until my next one, I will see you guys later.